Today, we're going to be checking out states with the most natural disasters. It's going to be interesting to check out. If you're obviously from these states, let me know in the comment section. I always find these videos kind of interesting with the natural disasters and stuff. So yeah, let's jump straight into this and check this out, man.
You know how sometimes really big things happen in nature that have the potential to really screw up your week? Well, these things are called natural disasters. They happen suddenly, and they can wreck things like buildings, land, even people's life. It
really happens in the UK, so I don't know of them personally, but you know,
in the United States, we face various types of natural disasters. Some of the usual ones are floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, wildfires, blizzards, tsunamis, and Gary Busey interviews.
Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does.
You know what? Like, people in the UK, we complain a lot about the weather, like raining and miserable and stuff. But you know, we should actually be so like happy that we're not in these kind of countries where there's tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires, etc., like tsunamis and stuff. It's actually mad what happens.
This is a subject I'm asked about all the time.
And yet people in the UK complain.
Need to know about. I'm going to give you this video, but there's also a website I go to for a lot of this information. It's replaced Zillow as my favorite website. It's called Where Might I Live? And they got this wish list function. You could put down what you require. You don't want a bunch of natural disasters. You want low crime. You want good schools. Put all that in, and it spits out which counties in the United States are best suited for your criteria.
Oh, interesting.
They're not sponsoring this video. I just think it's a pretty cool website. There's a link in the description area below.
Yeah, I call that. That's pretty good if you want to move.
Back to natural disasters. When these disasters strike, they can mess up a lot of things. Houses can be destroyed, and businesses can lose a bunch of money that might take them years to recover from. Now, it's just not the loss of money and housing and all that. Some people go through one too many natural disasters in an area, and they decide it's time to move someplace else.
Oh, wow.
I know more than a few people in Southern California that have moved because of the wildfires. Today we're looking at this.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting though, because this is going to be the states with the most natural disasters. So if you're not into the natural disasters, then don't be moving to these states.
States that reported the most natural disasters in 2022. Now, I'm also including how many times the federal government declared a natural disaster in a state since they started reporting those in 1953.
Right.
Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look.
Number 10.
California? Number 10, New Jersey.
Oh, no,
New Jersey's had a lot of disasters. Not all of them are natural. You have the MTV show Jersey Shore. That was a disaster. You had all kinds of super fun sites back in the day. And there's a place called Camden, New Jersey. But the natural disasters come from New Jersey's densely populated coast. It's vulnerable to flooding, storm surges, erosion, rising sea levels. And during certain months and certain years, the water gets a little warm and gets a little tropical and kind of sucks hurricanes up that direction. They've been hit with quite a few over their history. Storm Surge Sandy was the worst natural disaster in New Jersey's history. It caused $83.9 billion in damages and 43 fatalities back in October of 2012. Hurricane Ida.
What, just in October?
Which was the remnants of Hurricane Ida when it finally hit New Jersey. In 2021, it cost $80.2 billion in damage. And then, of course, Hurricane Irene hit in 2011. That took about $17 billion in damages.
Bro, this is just individual natural disasters. This isn't like a category of them in a year. This is mad.
Also had Hurricane Ivan in 2004 that cost about $32 billion in damages. So they've had some damage done to them by Mother Nature. The statistics that were released in 2022 were actually 2021 numbers. And that year, New Jersey declared 47 natural disaster areas, which sometimes included calling out the National Guard, things of that nature. Now, when it gets serious, like Superstorm Sandy, Hurricane Ida, and all those other ones, that's when the federal government gets involved and helps out. Every state has a handful of state emergencies every single year. But New Jersey called out 47 in 2021, and the federal government has called out 50 since it started reporting these in 1953.
Wow.
Number 9, Kansas. Kansas.
You know what? One of the states that I actually want to go to badly is Texas in America. And I've seen a couple of these tornado videos and they always seem to be in Texas. So I've got a feeling that Texas is going to be really high on this list.
It has a lot of things going on there. Tornadoes being the biggest one, flooding also. Then you get ice storms, lightning strikes that normally cause some form of fire, flash flooding, droughts, winter storms, all that good stuff. Kansas ranks second place for tornadoes from the years 1997 to 2022. They're ahead of Oklahoma and behind Texas. Yeah, Texas saw the most in that time.
Bro, I knew it. I knew it.
Now, back in the day, Kansas had some serious problems. They had an earthquake in 1867 in Manhattan, Kansas. 1875, they had a major locust swarm, which you don't hear that too often. And of course, in 1935,
wait, what's this major locust swarm? What is this? A load of just bugs just everywhere? Like literally just every... Bro, I need to see it.
Kansas is most famous for its tornadoes, thanks to The Wizard of Oz. Have you ever really thought about The Wizard of Oz? What happened in that movie? A tornado transports a young girl and her dog to a magical land,
right,
where she kills the first person she meets and then teams up with 3 strangers to kill again. In the 2022 report, Kansas declared 55 natural disasters, and since 1953, the federal government...
The way you put Wizard of Oz then...
has declared 70.
It's mad. Wait.
Since 1953, Kansas declared 55 natural disasters, and since 1953,
just in 2021,
the federal government has declared 70.
Crazy.
Number 8, Florida. This one, it
Florida's
surprises
so
me
beautiful,
because
though.
with all the hurricanes they've seen over the years.
You know what? I actually know someone in my stream who's from Florida, and isn't there a hurricane that's hitting there now? And he was like talking to me like the process that he was going through like live. Like it was actually crazy to be involved with. He was on about he needs to move 3 cars and reload, like move this, move that, keeping track of what's going on the news and stuff. I don't think he had to I think it just flew by him. So it was all good. But yeah, like just to experience it with him live was actually crazy. So I can't imagine actually being in, having to deal with it.
You think this would be much worse? Sure, they're in the top 10, but I mean, just when you watch the news and the history of Florida, you think they have a potential to be in the top 2.
Right.
They're not. I mean, until Manatee decide they've had enough and start attacking people. Florida sees a lot of different natural disasters. Hurricanes, obviously. They've had a few winter storms. They have storm surges, wildfires, and believe it or not, they average about 60 tornadoes touch down annually in Florida. Most of them...
60 tornadoes that touch down a year. That is crazy, bro.
Don't rise, almost all of them don't rise to the level of, major damage or a natural disaster, but they do get them. And that's a fact. I've had to look it up a couple different times. I've had people complain, I've lived in Florida my entire life. I've never seen or heard of a tornado. If you're leaving that comment, I got some bad news for you. You get about 60 a year. But hurricanes are obviously what really does damage.
Is he trying to say go outside? Is that what it is? But then again, like Florida is such a big place. Like you forget like I even still forget how big states are. So the fact that I don't know, if you're from Florida, let me know how many tornadoes you've seen. But the fact you get 60 a year, I'd imagine like everyone in Florida has seen a tornado. You know what I mean? Like that's 5, 6 a month. So yeah, that's mad.
Damage to Florida, which chases a lot of people away.
So
I don't have time to list all of these hurricanes. Here's a couple of the biggest ones, and they're the bigger ones we've ever had in the nation. Hurricane Katrina. This hurricane was one of the most expensive natural disasters in United States history. Over $108 billion lost. That's not just in Florida, the entire thing. It is the 3rd most deadly hurricane in U.S. history. You had Hurricane Andrew, which just destroyed things. And in 1926, they had the Miami hurricane. This hurricane had 150-mile-an-hour winds, and it killed 372 people. The state of Florida in 2021 declared 61 natural disasters, and the federal government since 1953 has declared 130 in Florida.
Wait, I've just realized what it is. So the federal government, they started tracking it in 1953 and 100. So you're telling me half of the hurricanes, pretty much half, was just in this one year?
Natural disasters, and the federal government since 1953 has declared 130.
So you're telling me they're going up?
Number 7, New York. I don't know, maybe it's because I've spent most of my life...
Oh, is it that like they have to do enough damage or whatnot, or be a certain size to be declared a natural disaster for the government?
On the West Coast, I've never heard of many in New York. I know they get some serious winter weather, but they've been hit by some hurricanes, or at least tropical storms that have been devastating. Now, New York shares a lot of the same problems that New Jersey...
Every time I see New York, right, all I see is just Spider-Man. That's all I see. I just see Spider-Man just flying around this building right
It
here.
does. I mean, other than Camden. They're right next to each other, so it only makes
So
sense.
cool.
But they get severe storms, floods, winter storms, wildfire, tropical storms, tornadoes, landslides, and droughts in New York. New York's coastal location makes it susceptible to hurricanes.
How would a tornado and hurricane like how would it be going through here? Because I know some can be really, really, really powerful, right? So like, these are some big buildings. So I don't know. Would it do any damage? Maybe shut a window? I don't know, man.
Hurricanes and tropical storms every single year. Now, they don't always make it all the way up.
You guys gonna have to let me know in the comment section what kind of damage. Like, let's say it was gonna go through those buildings right there. What kind of damage do you reckon it would do? Let's just say like an E5, is it F5, E5, E5 so basically one of the highest category tornadoes.
To New York, but it seems like every year at least one starts getting a little close and making people nervous, and then on the sad occasions they hit. Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Ivan. In 2021 they had a winter storm and cold wave that cost $25.6 billion to the area. They've even had a couple earthquakes. In 1944, they had the Cornwall-Messina earthquake, and in 2002, they had the Osable Forks earthquake.
Man, it's just like America just gets hit with all these natural disasters. It's actually mental. Like, from someone from the UK, if we got one of these, everyone would be freaking out. You know what I mean? It's
But
mad.
the big ones for New York State are going to be the winter weather. You had the 2004 Christmas Eve winter storm. They had in 2007 the North American ice storm. 1971, the Great Lakes blizzard. These have all done some serious damage. In 2021,
what's the Great Lake blizzard?
New York State named 63 natural disasters, and the federal government since 1953 has declared 95 in New York State. Number 6, Tennessee. Tennessee sees a lot of different types of natural disasters.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about their weird fascination with mullets and lamb chop sideburns. The natural disasters that Tennessee is prone to include severe storms, floods, wildfires, tornadoes, tropical storms, landslides, power outages. They're not really a natural disaster, obviously, but usually a natural disaster causes them and it creates bigger problems. They've even had a couple earthquakes.
I don't think some guy is going around with a chainsaw chopping down all the power supply. So
the most frequent natural disaster Tennessee sees is going to be the tornado. In 1952, they had the Oak Ridge tornado. In May of 2011, they had the major tornado breakout there. Flooding is another big one that happens in Tennessee. They have so many lakes, rivers, streams, creeks, whatever. They've got a lot of water everywhere. It causes a lot of flooding. In 2021, Tennessee declared 64 natural disasters, and the federal government has...
I can't believe this is only 6 on the list. 6 or 5th. This is mad.
Declared 69 since
I know for a fact Texas is going to be 1 or 2. I just know for a fact.
1953. Number 5, Kentucky. In just the last 2 years, Kentucky has recorded several billion-dollar events. These events include the December tornado outbreak in western Kentucky, that was in 2021, the historic flooding in eastern Kentucky in July of last year, 2022, and the March 3rd windstorm. That one impacted pretty much the entire state.
Wow.
They see everything. Severe storms, floods, like I said, tornadoes, winter storms, wildfires, tropical storms get up here occasionally, along with landslides and earthquakes.
Landslides, bro, is flat. Where's gonna be the light? I'm pretty sure landslides you need like some big hills, some big mountains, right?
Earthquakes aren't a really big thing for them, but the tornadoes and the flooding really do some damage to Kentucky. In 2021, Kentucky declared 147 natural disasters, and since 1953, the federal government...
How we just doubled? How we just doubled? Yeah, this federal thing right here, it's a little bit confusing. I think I missed it at the start, but someone just explained in the comments. I'm pretty sure it has to be a certain kind of disaster for the federal to like say it's a disaster.
Government has reported 74 in Kentucky.
Right, okay. Has to be to a certain extent.
Number 4, Oklahoma. This one is sort of a no-brainer. I mean, it's in Tornado Alley. Actually, where Oklahoma is located, it's known as the Eye of Tornado Alley. Most tornadoes in Oklahoma happen between April and June. The deadliest tornado in Oklahoma's history was in Oklahoma City in 1999, May 3rd to be exact. It was a F5 tornado. That tornado did $1 billion in damage, and 36 people died in that tornado, with another 5 that were in direct fatalities.
Wow.
Oklahoma declared 155 natural disasters in 2021, and since 1950,
that's more than 10 a month. Bro, this is actually mad.
the federal
You're nearly getting one every other day. What?
The government has declared 173 natural disasters in
Crazy.
Oklahoma.
That's actually crazy. How is
Number
that any
3,
higher than that?
Mississippi. Where do you start with Mississippi? I mean, the entire state can be considered a natural disaster. The Magnolia State sees severe storms, hurricanes, extreme heat and drought, tornadoes, floods, winter storms, landslides, and they've had a few earthquakes. Nothing major, though. They were
Right.
another state that was hit by Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and April of 2011, the tornado outbreak, which killed in total all the states 321 people. In
Wow.
March of this year, President Biden declared major disasters after straight line winds and tornadoes struck Mississippi. In 2021, Mississippi declared 202 natural disasters.
Alright, this is actually crazy. This is, bro, how do we have more after this? Bro, what is number one going to be a natural disaster every day?
And since 1953, they have had 75 major natural disasters that the feds got involved in.
Oh, so that's what it is. It's a natural disaster to the point where they've had to get involved. Wow. Okay.
Number 2,
Yeah, so to a certain extent.
Louisiana. When you're talking
Yo, Texas is going to be number one, isn't it? Texas is going to be number one. And Texas is like one of my top 3 states to go to. And actually, like, if I was going to move there, I'd consider it. I know people that live in Texas, that's why. But Texas is going to be number one.
about natural disasters in Louisiana, right away you're thinking hurricanes. They've been hit by so many hurricanes. In my lifetime alone, it's insane. Obviously, the
Wow.
biggest one was Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Katrina's
This
storm
Katrina,
surge
man.
caused levee failures in New Orleans, flooding 80% of the city. Louisiana did
Huh?
surge. Obviously, the biggest one was Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Katrina's storm surge caused levee failures in New Orleans, flooding 80% of the city.
It flooded 80% of the city.
Louisiana didn't get a break. Hurricane Rita hit. This Category 3 hurricane made landfall in southwestern Louisiana less than a month after Hurricane Katrina. Way back in 92, they had Hurricane Andrew. Then, of course, Hurricane Harvey, which was a Category 4 hurricane. It made landfall in Texas and Louisiana in 2017, causing catastrophic flooding and over 100 deaths. Now, back
Wow.
before I was born, they had Hurricane Betsy in 1965. It struck New Orleans, causing levees to breach and flooding in more than 160,000 homes. If I was going to build a house in New Orleans, I would put it on stilts like they do in North Carolina's Outer Banks and other places. I think Texas does that too, some of their beach cities. In 2021, Louisiana declared 327 natural disasters.
How is that even possible? How is that even possible? And how is this number 2? How is this even possible? How do you have a natural disaster every day? I don't get that. How is that possible?
Since 1953, they've had 79 major natural disasters that the federal government got involved in.
Mad.
All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget one of our other channels is called The Sweet Life for Briggs. There's a link down below. We're starting to upload some videos.
I know out of the 300, they're not like, a lot of them aren't major, but the fact that they're still having that many is actually crazy.
Here really soon. We've got a couple on there right now, but we're getting ready to upload a few others. All right, on to number 1.
Right, number 1, Texas, bring it on. There we go.
Number 1,
Yep.
Texas.
I knew it.
Everything's big in Texas, and that extends to their natural
knew it.
disasters. They get some pretty good ones out there. I would have thought
Great.
Louisiana would have beat them, but no, here's Texas. That's obviously because it's a bigger state. They got a lot more land
Massive.
to have a lot more natural disasters. They
Fair
get
point.
flooding, wildfires, tornadoes, hailstorms, sinkholes, erosion, and drought. They say an average of 132 tornadoes touch down in Texas.
Do you know what? If you want to avoid the natural disasters, you just got to go to the west. You just got to go to the west. And then you'll be fine. Well, you won't really be fine because there's still natural disasters over there, but kind of.
every single year.
More
they
than
average
this.
900 wildfires every year. Not all of them get to epic proportion.
How many
They
a year?
average 900 wildfires every year. Not
900 wildfires every year. 900. 3 a day. You get 3 wildfire. Huh? It just that don't make sense in my head. I know they won't be massive. Like, it won't be forest fire. You know what I mean? Like, crazy fires. But that's actually insane still.
Not all of them get to epic proportion and require the National Guard or anything like that, but they got a lot of dry grassland that makes Texas particularly prone to wildfires. In its history, Texas has had the highest total costs associated with drought, severe storms, and winter storms. Now, they've been hit by some serious hurricanes. If everyone remembers a few years back, Hurricane Harvey just nailed the state. That one was so bad with the flooding and everything. People are... It's like if you owned a canoe, you could win back an old girlfriend from a really bad relationship. When Hurricane Harvey hit, I just noticed this. I was watching a lot of news at the time and watching what was happening there. And it kind of, I don't know, reignited my passion for life in a way, just to see people helping each other. They didn't need to help them. These are normal citizens helping, older women out of their homes that, were maybe in a wheelchair or walker. Guy I just remember this one guy, like waist deep in water. He's got this older woman who lived a couple doors down from him, giving her a piggyback ride over a mile away in water just to get her to safety.
Bro, this is crazy though. Like, this is actually mad. This is like making me reconsider, because like Texas was high on the list, but now I'm like, yo, do I want to go to Texas? Now I want to go to Texas because I don't want to be hit by no hurricane. I don't want to be hit by no tornado. I just want to sit. I just want to be in my room and to play games.
So many things like that. I know it's a disaster, but it just kind of gives you hope for mankind when you see people doing things for other people that not benefiting them really. There was a quote, I think it's from a book or a movie. I heard it online, but it said, society works best when older men are planting trees they know they'll never have the pleasure of sitting in its shade. Natural disasters bring that out in human beings, and that's the best part about a natural disaster.
So what, that quote just pretty much just means people are helping people out for no selfish gain.
Disaster normally. Of course, then you have the other side of the coin when you have people, real estate people, developers trying to buy homes of people that are still looking for their loved ones in Hawaii after that fire. One lady said she was getting 4 or 5 calls a day, emails, anything else. They got her information. They're trying to get a hold of her. She's trying to find like her aunt or something that's missing. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox. Texas saw 510.
Yo, these estate agents, man, they're wild, bro. They're like, yo, Betsy, can I purchase your home? I'm looking for my grandma. We'll give you a really good deal. Bro, they're savages, man.
10 natural disasters in 2021. Since 1950, Texas saw 500.
Wait, but that was less than the other one.
Or something that's
Is
missing.
it not? Was
anyway,
it not?
Let me get off my soapbox. Texas saw 500.
Wait, was that? Oh, wait, no, the other one was 300, and then Texas had 900 wildfires. Right,
10 natural disasters in 2021. Since 1953, the federal government has declared 255 major natural disasters in Texas. Man.
Yo, that's actually mental, but really good video. You guys gotta let me know if you're from those states. How bad does it get? Have you seen tornadoes? Have you seen hurricanes in person? Is it real? Whatnot? Because right now, after watching that, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if I went to like Texas, I'm gonna see a tornado at least like 3 times every month. But I know that's over exaggerating. So let me know in the comment section what it's actually like. But really good video. Enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, make sure you give a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/LFG. If you guys want to check me out over there, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.